Now for the month of September, ladies and gents, many of you already know that Nio sold over 15,000 deliveries, and out of those 15,000 deliveries, it consisted of all their 8 models, as now Nio has transitioned all of their old NT 1.0 into the NT 2.0. The last model that was put into transition was the Nio EC6, which of course they started selling the new version of that model, and that is the NT 2.0. Now, ladies and gents, for the total, or those over 15,000 total vehicles that we saw Nio reporting for the month of September, over 50% of those deliveries came from the Nio ES6. Because I see on the screen, the ES6 sold 7,896, which means that out of those over 15,000 deliveries, ladies and gents, it contributed to over 50%, which is something that shows that this is a model that is still doing pretty good. Many people were thinking that, of course, the ET5 Touring might still its shine, which of course it also sold pretty good because it sold over 2,500 deliveries for the month of September. But nonetheless, this ES6 is still selling pretty good numbers. As for the EC6, you will know that Nio started selling that model towards the end of September, and they managed to scoop in over 1,000 vehicles of that model, which is again really commendable because this is the model that they started selling towards the end of September, and to get to see it producing over 1,000 deliveries makes me to be really excited and makes me wonder the kind of deliveries we'll see coming from this EC6 now for the month of October. Now, before we dig deep into this video, you already know that this video is just an entertainment video and not a professional financial advice video. Now, I would appreciate if you can just hit the like button if you are to enjoy the content that I'll be giving you about the deliveries breakdown we saw from that over 15,000 vehicles that Nio delivered for the month of September. I think we can learn a thing or two because part of the reason I'm doing this video is to show you that, of course, the sales of the ES8 reached an all-time high, which is good news to the new investors because that is one of the most expensive model that Nio is selling out of their 8 models, and that is expected to boost their gross margins, which is something that is good because, ladies and gents, in terms of the average sale, Nio will be able to get a higher average sale than the average sale they scooped in or they were getting, of course, in the previous quarters, because they were not selling that much of this most expensive model that is amongst their fleet. So I'm very excited to see a vehicle like ES8 hitting an all-time high in terms of deliveries, and I would like to continue seeing it happening like this because it is a vehicle that not only is expensive, but it will also give Nio some good gross margins. I mean, ES8 sold 2,139, which is a good figure looking at the fact that last month they had sold just over 1,500, which, or for the month of August they sold over 1,500. It is something that is really commendable. Now, as I've said, hit the like button, comment, subscribe if you are enjoying the kind of content that I'm giving you. So I'm very excited about the fact that ES6, regardless of all these models that are being launched, we are still ES6 deliveries remaining stronger, which of course we'll see how it goes, especially that now the EC6 started deliveries towards the end of course September. We are to see if whether the ES6 will still contribute these high figures when we look into the monthly deliveries, which I think it might not maybe take the entire 50%, of course, of the deliveries because of the EC6, which I think this month it will do pretty good. The chances are very high that the EC6 might take position number 2, looking at the fact that SUVs tend to perform better in China than, of course, the sedans, the shooting brakes, which is why I personally believe that chances are very high that, yeah, it might overtake the ES8, though ES8 is doing very well. But with the ES8, you'll know that it's a bit pricey, though it's having demand, but it's a bit pricey. I don't think we'll get to see the ES8 getting to where the ES6 is right now, and that is selling over 7,000 vehicles. We might see, of course, a little bit of competition there, but chances are very high that the first best-selling model will remain the ES6, followed by the EC6, and then probably followed by either ES8 or ET5 Touring, then the ET5, then the other. So I'm very excited about these kind of figures, or the breakdowns of the figures we saw coming from the September deliveries, because it was on my mind as to how many vehicles out of those 15,000 did Nio produce for their respective models, and to get to see that ES6 is still at the top of the food chain with over 50% made me to at least see that they still demand onto this model, though I think this month the demand or the numbers might not be as what we saw in September because of the EC6, which the difference between the EC6 and the, of course, ES6 is just around or over $2,000, which is something that, looking at that kind of a difference, I personally think that, yeah, we might see EC6 also getting a lot of course, deliveries. You will know that Nio indicated, I think a month or two, the new CEO indicated that they are targeting to deliver between 15 to 20,000 from the EC6, ES6, and the ET5 Touring. These three vehicles, they are targeting to deliver over 15,000 on a month to month, 15 to 20,000, which, getting to see now that there's also the ES8, which personally I don't think that even Nio themselves, they thought it will perform the way it's performing. I think we might get a very tight competition between the ET5 Touring and the ES8, because their figures now, they are quite close to each other, and I think, yeah, it might be a tough battle between those two models, but nonetheless they are targeting two different, or they target two different consumers. If you are a more bigger family guy, you opt to go with the ES8, but if you have a small family, you can still go for the ET5 Touring because it's spacious, ladies and gents, than of course the ET5 mid sedan. So otherwise, with all that, guys, I just thought I'd just give you this quick update. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. And once you subscribe, don't forget to hit or click that notification bell so that at least you get notified by YouTube every time I drop a new content. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to the kind of deliveries that Nio will produce for the month of October, and I would really like to see the EC6 picking up in terms of sales, and of course, yes, the ES6 still being number one, and the deliveries or the numbers for the ES8 continue rising, because with the ES8 especially, the more we get numbers coming in from that model, it is the more we're going to see more revenues and gross margins improving from Nio. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey, and God bless you all.